Welcome to Lecole. I'm Victoria Pendleton.
I'm Chris Opie, and this video is all about explosive training. Victoria, unlike most of the athletes that we speak to, you are famed for your sprinting, which means that you have a lot more knowledge and experience of explosive training. So, can we start with what are the benefits of explosive training?
Well, explosive training trains your fast twitch muscle fibers. Like everyone's aware that we have slow twitch muscle fibers and fast twitch muscle fibers, and slow twitch more endurance, fast twitch more sprint, more power delivery. So we all have a proportion of these muscles in our bodies, and it's genetic. We can train a small amount of them to go one way or the other. And doing high intensity, fast, high power training helps increase your performance in that particular range. So we used to do a lot of strength training, a lot of high resistance training to build the muscles, to build the power so that we could deliver high speed, high intensity efforts. And it's something that is only really trainable. You have a small degree of it naturally in your body, some people more than others. If you're a mesomorph, so somebody who's very muscly, you naturally tend to be quite powerful. You can put a lot of force through the pedals. Some of us don't necessarily look like sprinters and need to work a little bit harder at it. So doing sprint efforts helps improve the power that you can deliver in a split second.
So to see really good gains in our sprint training, how often do we need to be training our sprint?
Well, it's important that you train the sprint and give yourself recovery. It's not something you can train every single day in many ways, because it takes a lot out of your body and you will build a lot of fatigue, a lot of lactic acid. It's not something you can necessarily deliver on day on day on day. And when you do, you'll notice that other elements of your training might seem quite difficult. So if you're doing weight training and explosive work in the gym, dynamic work in the gym, you can find that you feel like you're pedaling on square wheels, which is awful. It feels terrible, but you almost have to prepare for that performance. You don't do it the week before you compete, you do it early in the season, consistently. Maybe 3 times a week is a good time to do sort of strength work or resistance work. It gives your muscles time to adapt and rebuild, ready for the next session.
So if we're going to look at on the bike technique then, what are the key elements that people need to be paying attention to in order to increase their power output when sprinting?
So to increase your power output, it's really important to work on your posture, because you don't want to be wasting any energy, you want to be efficient. So if your core is nice and sort of tight and strong, you know, your arm position, the shapes you create, everything doesn't move that doesn't need to move. It should be purely about putting force through the pedals and pedaling in full revolutions. Something we spend a lot of time pulling and pushing as much as possible. So you really focus on your position on the bike and holding it really nice and tight so that you're delivering as much force through the pedals as possible. It has to be over a short period, maybe using a hill, maybe using a big gear, and really giving it everything you've got, 100%. You don't ask your body to adapt to sprint training, you have to force it to, and then you have to repeat it and kind of revisit it, because it's not something that we do in our day-to-day lives. We don't go at 100%. You have to be prepared to go there.
Okay, to finish then, do you have a favourite on the bike sprint training session that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I mean, there's so many things you can do, but just doing a sort of a 30-second effort, if you can find an open, safe piece of road with a slight incline and just absolutely blast it, and being able to focus on your form, on your position, give yourself a couple of minutes recovery, repeat, do it maybe 5, 6 times, however many you can manage, but you don't prepare for the next effort, you give it everything you've got. You know that your form will, throughout the session, diminish, but that's okay. It's all part of sort of training the sprint.
Victoria, thank you very much for talking to us today. We look forward to seeing you in another video again soon.